most of the times you might feel you have a choice or you have an option of doing this or doing whatever you want in some or the other way, but that could just be notional.
In a day, if you can minimize the number of decisions you take, it's better for your mind.
If you are a believer of multiverse, every choice is a new universe opening. It can be the smallest of the choices. A lot of people who want lesser choices in life would be religious people, you would see.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of our series. I think we have introduced all of each other in the last 2 episodes, so we won't go into the introductions again. And this is, by the way, the first episode we are shooting in a night format. We have done...
What is a night format?
Night format, matlab only night format, not day and night. So only night. Only night format. Nishachar type. This is a Nishachar episode for us. So the topic for the day is paradox of choice. So let me try to define what I mean by paradox of choice. It's basically I'm not going to the good or bad. We will discuss that during the podcast. It's the overwhelming number of choices that we face in our lives today, in every sphere of activity, in every aspect of life, be it relationships, be it in our buying choices, be in anything that's surrounding us. So we're going to debate on that. Okay. Just like our first 2 episodes, I would love to start off by defining the terms that we are going to talk about today. So I would like to ask you, Raman.
But before we go to the definition, do you want to maybe summarize the format? What will be the format of our discussion today?
Okay, sure. Let me do that. So what we will do is that we will first define what we mean by the paradox of choice. After that, we will look at the various facets of this statement, if I can call that. Okay, we'll look at the various philosophical aspects of choices. We will look at the various theoretical constructs that are there in literature as well as in philosophy, as I said. We will look at the positive aspects of choice, the negative aspects of having too much choice, and then we will finally try to arrive at some sort of a index or some sort of a, if I can call that, conclusion of we can decide whether we want to go on a scale of 0 to 10 or something like that, on how good or bad this explosion of choice that we see in our society today, how good or bad that is. So that's how we want to conclude.
मतलब अगर मैं अपने स्कूल वाले टर्म्स में बोलूँ तो choices, is it a blessing or is it a curse? That's what we're trying to...
Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do in the podcast today. So again, to begin with, I'd like to begin with you, Raman. How do you define a choice? What do you mean by choice?
I think choice to me is an act of selecting between 2 or more possibilities. And so that means that our every moment is full of choices, where we might be taking certain choices subconsciously. For example, to breathe is a choice. Maybe we are taking that call subconsciously. Similarly, there can be other choices, like when you get up in the morning, do you want to leave your bed or not leave your bed? That's a choice as well. So anything where you are selecting between 2 or more possibilities, that is a choice to me.
Piyush, what's your take on choice?
So I feel choices are basically multitude of options, 2 or more, that you somehow feel that you have. Why I say feel is because of the fact that most of the times you might feel you have a choice or you have an option of doing this or doing whatever you want in some or the other way, but that could just be notional. It could just be in your mind that you have choices, but ultimately you will do what you want to do. You already know. So the choices don't really have a play. So there are 2 scenarios. What I wanted to make you guys understand is that choices, of course, you will have multitude of options or numerous options to choose from, but most of the times it could be just notional, and not the real options that you would have. So coming back to your definition, like your question, is that choices, I feel, is more about choosing something, knowing what options do you have, and sometimes not choosing something, doing whatever you had already predetermined for.
Okay, cool. So I also again agree with both of you.
Like I'll give an example.
Sure.
So basically, I read about this story where a man, he meets three promising prospects, three female, and so he's a rich guy. So he says that, hey, look, I'm finding it difficult to like understand or to find out whom should I go ahead with. So I give you all some 50,000-60,000 rupees and do whatever you want. And when you come back, I'll probably decide whom I want to get married to. Okay. So the first female, she goes, goes to the parlor and gets orders good dresses, comes back all the more beautiful. The second woman, is a bit more caring. She goes to the market, finds out stuff that he likes, brings it back to him, thinks about him as the first, desire, object of desires. And third woman, what she does, she goes ahead and invests that money in the market.
Not in the present market, I'm assuming.
Yeah, in the market and gets some healthy returns, and she returns the money back and says, this money I will use to, spend my life with you because I love you a lot. So what do you think the man, went, like which one do you think the man went for?
Difficult to say, but as we say, I think
It was very simple. It was always there. The man went for the woman with the biggest boobs.
okay.
So the choice is very simple. All these distractions, they don't matter. Sometimes it's notional, sometimes it's, there, but you always know what you want.
No, I think in that case also, I think as they say, right, men choose or men decide on what they see, and women decide on what they hear. That's what they said, right? So I think it was obvious that.
मतलब ये तो joke की तरह, it's a good joke, but I think that's not how life works. I feel the more complex a life is, or in fact, if I talk about only in human beings as well, the more complexities are there in a person's lives are basically the choices in a person's life. So you'll see a person who is too rich probably would have to make choices for the financial investments and all of those things, right? A person who is maybe very intelligent would have ethical dilemma always about things because they understand multiple perspectives of something. Or so I think choices exist for sure. There can be certain cases where the choices are only notional and we feel कि choice है लेकिन असली में होती नहीं है. But for sure there are lot of and majority of the events in our life is full of choices.
So is it also true that choices means abundance of resources to probably have those choices in the first place? So for example, what I mean is you gave an example of Reliance or say the Ambani family. It's because they have so much of, they have all the resources and the means. So for them, they will have multitude of options and to choose from. Vis-a-vis, say, a common man, okay, in any field, not just with respect to the money here, but in any field, because he doesn't have the, appropriate means or resources, his choices are fairly limited. Is that also?
Yeah, so I think, again, coming back to the definition of choice, how I would like to put it is that whenever you have to make a decision or a person has to make a decision, if there are more than one options that the person can choose from, again, choose, the word comes there, that's
Select.
a choice. Yeah, that's select from, right? If n is 1, then there is no choice. If n is 2 or more, there is a choice.
Yeah, greater than one.
Greater than 1 is a choice. And how many you have, that's something that depends on your circumstances and various other things. But that's a choice. If it's more than 1, you have a choice. So that's how I think
In fact, the options also I would call possibilities. Baba, don't you think every choice is a possibility? Every choice is if you are a believer of multiverse, every choice is a new universe opening. It can be the smallest of the choices.
Absolutely,
For example, doing this podcast today or not doing it today was a choice, right? It definitely was a choice, right? And it's a new possibility that is probably has given birth to itself because we have made the choice.
Yeah.
So every choice is basically selecting a possibility.
Yeah, that's true. So I think, there are two ways, right? One is choice of doing something or not doing something. That's something that you are mentioning. I think what I'm trying to discuss, or we are trying to discuss today, is you have the paradox of choice. The subject that we have chosen is that we have a lot of choices in life, and the problems or the positives or the negatives of having too many choices in life. I think that's what we're trying to discuss, and not, of course, we'll touch upon that, but it's not primarily on whether you do something or not do something. It's about having multiple options and the problems associated with having to choose one of them. I think that's what we're trying to discuss today. Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I think we have. I think I think we are all in agreement on the overall definition of choice. So we'll move forward. What I would like to cover in the next segment is, let's try to understand the problems associated with too much choice. Okay, in various aspects of life. Okay, you can give your own examples we have seen from friends and family, in, let's say, right from choosing which movie to watch over the weekend or what to watch on OTT. Maybe 3-4 years ago there was just Netflix. Now there are at least 10 OTT platforms out there. To the choice of dress, to the choice of car, choice of food, whatever. What are the problems that you are seeing in your day-to-day life with the explosion of choices around you? We'll try to discuss that.
Or not having choice at all.
So
Like living in a country like India, where now,
You have a choice.
in a lot of ways, we don't have a choice.
so we
Like choosing the government. Do we have a choice?
will, no, we will,
It's like the Hobson's theory, where you are given multiple options, but you don't have a choice.
no, so we will discuss that, Piyush, in the next segment, where I want to cover that okay, we have discussed there are so many choices, but do we really have a choice? Okay.
And whether having the choice is a good thing or not.
So that we will discuss. Okay. So right now, let's focus on discussing the problems associated with having multiple choice. We will discuss. See, I was reading somewhere that the most important thing that human beings want is freedom. Okay. For example, I won't say we were doing good under British. We had a lot of problems, but we wanted to be free, right? So freedom is freedom from financial problems, freedom from medical problems. Freedom is a basic thought process in all of our minds. We want freedom. Okay. Now, freedom comes with choice. The moment somebody tells you don't have a choice, तुमको engineering ही पढ़ना है, तुमको medical ही पढ़ना है, so then it's a what you call negative aspect in your mind. The moment your parents tell you कि तुमको कुछ भी करना है करो, okay, अभी वहां पे आ जाता है कि तुमको देखो मेडिकल पढ़ सकते हो, 3-4 चॉइसेस दे दिया, वीजा भी तुमको कुछ भी करना है करो. Maybe that's again a problematic area, but what I'm saying is that freedom as a fundamental entity is something that we all love. Okay, so that is there, but then I think everything has a threshold. The moment you have too much freedom, for example, in our day-to-day lives also, in the press we see, right, there's always a debate between how much press freedom should have, how much freedom should people have on expressing themselves, right? Then manhane ka case ho jata hai. So that's a different debate. We'll not go into that. But let us focus right now on the negative aspects of having too much choice in our day-to-day life. Piyush, what do you want to say about the various negative effects?
So I personally believe that too many choices in most of the things around me makes me all the more confused, and it acts more like a distraction to me, because if when I compare my days where I have limited choices vis-a-vis day where I have a lot of choices, I end up getting confused. So for example, like if I know that I have one a meal fixed every day, for me it's much more easier to know what I'm expecting, vis-a-vis if I have too many options and the cook asks me that what do you want to eat, so I'm perplexed. Most of the times I'm confused. So I feel these are in my case, I feel these are more of a distraction to me. Given the same case with content these days on OTT, there's so much of content out there. I end up watching the same shows that I used to like. Like I don't watch new shows, and the same is the case with movies. Movies, although there's no good content out there, but OTT not so. So yeah, I feel it's more of a distraction. If you are given, say, limited options to choose from, it's much more preferred when if you ask me. But otherwise, I feel it's more of a distraction.
See, I think, but understand, and that's in theoretical terms. I think that's something that they call it decision paralysis, right? So the moment you have a lot of choice, it hinders your decision making process. And as I think I was again reading somewhere that in a day, if you can minimize the number of decisions you take, it's better for your mind. Okay, right from any decision, right from scrolling through a Instagram, or whether to decide to go to office or not to go to office. If let's say everybody was going to office 5 days a week, let's say 10 years ago, right? Now the उठ के फिर decide करना पड़ता है कि ऑफिस जाऊं कि ना जाऊं, right? So that itself is a decision making process. पहले ऐसा नहीं था. सुबह उठो, नहाओ, खाओ, पियो मतलब पानी पियो और जूस, nothing else. तो वो पी के फिर ऑफिस चले जाओ, right? There was no decision making. Now that's a problem. That's called decision paralysis. Okay, but I want to be a devil's advocate out here and ask you a question. Now on the OTT part, right? Now we have taken for granted that there are, at least in India, there are 5-6 major OTTs, right? Netflix, अभी जियो और हॉटस्टार तो सेम हो गया है, Amazon Prime, then Z5 is
The
there.
one that you watch.
हाँ वो हाँ
Balaji,
ऑल बालाजी मैं नहीं देखता
बाबा के चेहरे में स्माइल आ गया।
वो तो एक अलग कैटेगरी, ऑल्ड बालाजी, उल्लू, वो सब में नहीं जाएंगे, ठीक है?
अच्छा, क्यों नहीं जाएंगे?
मतलब वो सब ठीक है, वो सब जाएंगे, बट नॉट
आपने बोला निशाचर।
ऑफ कैमरा जाएंगे बाबा।
अपने अंदर का निशाचर निकालो फिर बाहर।
बाबा उनमें से एक मूवी में आए भी थे, आपको पता है?
तो
हम दूध वाला बने थे।
मस्तराम की एक स्टोरी, मस्तराम का किसमें MX प्लेयर थे?
MX प्लेयर पे, हाँ MX प्लेयर पे
मस्तराम
MX
आपको
player
पता
is
है
a
ना
TV
मस्तराम?
channel.
हाँ
MX player is a TV channel.
ना
It's like an
OTT also
OTT.
now. अरे
उसका पहले गाने वाला था ना वो शायद।
नहीं that's Dynex है।
नहीं ये देखता है, यही तो देखता है,
मैं सब देखता हूँ।
ये देखता है, इसका वो प्रो
तभी तो इतना परेशान हो गया हूँ मैं चौथे से ना।
तो कमिंग बैक टू ओरिजिनल क्वेश्चन,
OTT choice.
OTT choice, आज के तारीख में we have taken it for granted these are 5-7 OTTs we have. कल को अगर बोल दिया जाए कि देखो
सिर्फ
सिर्फ
दूरदर्शन
नेटफ्लिक्स
देखना
ही
है।
है, नहीं सिर्फ नेटफ्लिक्स है, बाकी सब गवर्नमेंट बंद कर रहे हैं, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, wouldn't it for a moment actually make you unhappy? We are saying कम चॉइस है तो अच्छा है, is what we are saying, right? But choices
वो
जो
पर्सनल बोल रहा है अपना, उसका ओपिनियन है। His life he feels is simpler.
no, but I'm
and
just
he's
trying
lesser.
to understand. Let's say choices, एक तो है, we have taken a lot of choices for granted.
I'll give you an answer.
Will we be happier or sadder?
See,
Sadder word
we've
नहीं
all
है।
grown up in like 90s, right? The 90s kid. So we were growing up when, I guess, to a large extent of my childhood, I didn't have access to cable TV, and most of the kids around me didn't have access either.
Yeah.
We grew up watching DD1 and DD2. You know, there are so many shows that are still one of my favorites. And if I look back then I was happy. Even now when I look back, I think there was nothing wrong in it, because on DD1 or DD2, both put together, it encompassed everything that I wanted to watch, or say a family wants to watch.
Or you did not know what you wanted.
Yeah, maybe
Because
could be that. But now when I look back, I think back then life was much simpler when it comes to OTT or content that I'm consuming. Right? So yeah.
नहीं, मुझे पूछा कि आज के तारीख में अगर सिर्फ नेटफ्लिक्स रख के tomorrow Indian government decides कि only Netflix is allowed, all other OTTs will be shut down, will that actually
देखो
make
जियो
you
हॉटस्टार तो नहीं शट डाउन हो सकता।
तो जियो हॉटस्टार को रख लो,
हाँ, वही रहेगा, वही
तो
रहेगा।
ठीक है, तो जियो हॉटस्टार को रख लो, और जियो मेरे लाल, जियो मेरे लाल नया कुछ OTT बना दिया,
चॉइस ही नहीं है फिर हमारे पास। चॉइस
will it make you more happy?
हाँ,
तो मेरे फॉर मी तो चॉइस, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि choices will only going to grow with every passing day. I think choices are a part of evolution. As a single cell bacteria, you don't have much choice.
Okay.
But as the evolution takes place or took place till now, our choices have only grown, right? And this is only going to grow from here as well, right? And we are experiencing that with each passing day. Example, we were talking about this in, I think, episode 1, key example, Mars is a vacation spot for you. Then you have one more choice at least to visit, right? And this is, as we continue to grow, as Homo sapiens continue to grow, the choices are going to grow for us. तो सबसे पहले मेरे लिए ये important है देखना कि why do we make a choice? Why does somebody chooses something they do? है ना? और what is the psychology of a choice basically? क्यों choose किया तूने कुछ? कि even if you don't want, let's say, to do this podcast, but you're still choosing to do it, there would be something behind it, right? What is that? क्यों किया है? जो
In
किया है वो
most
क्यों
of
किया है?
the cases that I make a choice, my theory is I opt for the path of least resistance. Okay, so podcast, it's a, you've taken a lot of effort, and I really, feel that I couldn't have done this much, but at the same time, it's a session that I look forward to because we all get to talk about things that probably interests us or intrigues us, and we just want to explore a lot about it. But
Perfect.
coming back to your question,
Yeah.
so anything when it comes to me personally, I feel I will choose the path of least resistance.
Right, perfect. So that is your theory of making a choice.
Yeah.
Similarly, a lot of choices might be logical in nature. Some might be driven by emotions.
Correct.
Some might be driven subconsciously. You're not even taking a call doing it. For example, घर आके पानी लेना या तुझे पानी देना. I don't have to think about it because I know तू कॉफी नहीं पीता है या तू चाय नहीं पीता है ना? या बियर है घर पे तो I'll give you a beer. Otherwise, water is your beverage, right? So similarly, I feel this is a subconscious choice for me to make to offer you a beverage, right? So अलग-अलग choices है, of course, and there are different logics, but till the time it matches with whatever your core values are, right? There can be, देखो core values में भी gray area हो सकता है, and that's why there is a paradox of choice. That's why you're confused between certain choices. है ना? जहां पे तुम्हारे शायद प्रिंसिपल्स तुम्हें अलाउ नहीं कर रहे हैं, या जहां पे तुम्हारा लॉजिक अलाउ नहीं कर रहा है, जहां पे तुम्हें इमोशंस अलाउ नहीं कर रहे हैं वो कॉल लेने के लिए,
या मॉरल्स अलाउ,
या मॉरल्स अलाउ नहीं कर रहे. सो वेरियस
जैसे आप शादी में हो और आपको पसंद है कोई, बट आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते हो.
शादी के टाइम पे,
अपनी शादी में,
नहीं, शादी के बाद.
शादी के,
लाइक यू आर इन अ मैरिज.
अच्छा, हाँ वो हो सकता है. वो तो शादी के बाद सबका होता ही है शायद. तुमको पता तो है. तुमको तो दोनों तरफ से पता है. वाइफ भी है,
आपको
गर्लफ्रेंड
क्या
भी
लगता है
है.
मैंने क्यों बोला है?
चॉइस है ना,
हाँ?
चॉइस.
मैं भुगत भोगी हूँ. I've experienced it. And that is why I'm saying path of least resistance.
So path of least resistance तूने बोला, वो अगर जब तक शायद तेरा तुझे ये पता है कि path of least resistance is going to bring you, तो मैं कैसे इसे देखता हूँ. I'm so sorry to be taking so much time.
No,
but how I bring it together is, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कोई भी काम, कोई भी डिसीजन मेरे लिए शायद पर्सनल हो सकता है चॉइस का, मैं करूंगा तो या तो उसे करने का गिल्ट होगा, and there would be some, for example, there's an ice cream that DBC है ना? मैं डाइट पर हूं, मैं शुगर नहीं खा रहा हूं, but there's DBC in the fridge and I'm hungry. एक तो मुझे हैप्पीनेस या इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन मिलेगी वो खा के, ऑब्लिक there will be some guilt. And I think subconsciously, at least me or my mind is balancing कि कितना gratification है और कितना guilt है. And whenever the gratification wins over, I do that thing, or if the guilt of doing something would take over, I would pass in not doing it. So that's how my fundamental or core being works in making a choice.
Interestingly, coming to think of it, don't you think then the life revolves around eliminating those choices where, you have a counter, or, you have perplexing emotions? Why I'm saying that? Say, if you know that this ice cream is not healthy and subconsciously you try, inculcating that as a daily habit, then come one day you will not think about having that ice cream because at the end of the day, since you're on a sugar-free diet, that it's not good for me, so it's no more a choice for me.
For sure, discipline.
So eliminating all those choices.
Discipline eliminates choices. Yeah. Religion helps you to reduce choices as well. That's why a lot of people who want lesser choices in life would be religious people, you would see. Because religion automatically eliminates a few choices for you. Right? So, or some kind of discipline. Minimalist people, I think there's a good overlap between minimalism, religion, and the choices.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think.
आपके लिए क्या है? Sorry, Baba. आपके लिए क्या? What is your principle behind, or your psychology behind making a choice?
My psychology behind making a choice. एक तो ये है कि I think I have discussed this with you before also, Raman, in the sense कि see, people who keep second guessing themselves, right? And I think I'm one of them. Okay, irrespective of what choice I make, in most aspects of life, I keep on second guessing myself. Okay, I have FOMO जिसको बोलते हैं, right? There is a fear of missing out on many things. There is a what you call that, the perceived, again, that's something
Yeah,
I read.
yeah.
The perceived benefits of not choosing something.
Regret.
Huh. The perceived benefits of not choosing something vis-a-vis the actual benefits of what you have chosen.
Yeah.
Always keeps on happening in the subconscious mind.
And especially the one that you've chosen turns out to be a bad one.
ना उसमें भी क्या है, एक theory पता है कि when you are always thinking of the good things that you have not chosen, ना, you turn a blind eye to the good things that you have. Okay, जो
No, but all decisions
So
are not
grass is
good.
greener on the other
हाँ, the
side.
grass is greener on the other side here. अभी problem क्या है? Grass is greener on the other side. Other side मतलब एक side. Now what has happened? There are multiple shades of grass on multiple sides. So
Yeah.
that has become the problem.
Yeah.
एक साइड में तो तू भी ठीक है, मतलब बाइनरी है.
Yeah.
मैंने X चूज नहीं कर Y चूज कर लिया. Now अभी X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D 26 choices अगर है, then it's your mind is totally fucked, if I can call that, right? So that's a problem. So एक तो ये है कि देखो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं खाना कहीं पे खाने जाऊंगा तो मैं चिली चिकन ही चूज करूंगा, राइट? तो इन दैट आई एम क्लियर, एंड वो मुझे एक्चुअली हैप्पीनेस ही देता है. और जब भी मैंने कुछ उटपटांग चूज किया है ना, एक बार किसी ने बोला था, मैं कॉलेज से गया था एमबीए
चिकन चिली खा ले.
अरे
उल्टा हो
अरे मेरे दोस्त मुझे लेके गए थे कि बाबा आज तुमको कुछ और खिलाएंगे, ठीक है, चिकन का खिलाएंगे और खिलाएंगे. तो उन्होंने ऑर्डर किया चिकन लजानिया, ठीक है. तो अरे मैंने पहली बार वो नाम सुना तब, ठीक है,
कोई लिंक ही नहीं है.
तो चिकन लजानिया चूज किया. वो चिकन लजानिया तो इतना घटिया निकला ना, ठीक है. पहले तो वो हम लोग बंगाली लोग पायस पीते हैं, मतलब खाते हैं पीते जो भी बोलो, व्हाइट कलर का कर्ड टाइप का ऐसा कुछ आया, ठीक है. उसमें मैं चिकन ढूंढ रहा था, मिला नहीं. तो एक तो है कि whenever I have deviated from chili chicken ना, results have been bad. तो इसलिए मैं चिली चिकन पे चूज करता हूँ. बट दैट्स ओनली चिकन एंड फूड.
हम वैसे आपका क्वेश्चन ओटीटी पे था बाबा.
लेकिन गॉट योर पॉइंट, मेरे को समझ आ रहा है बाबा. तो यहाँ पे एक तो सबसे पहले मैं बह गया था थोड़ा सा, आई डिड नॉट कंप्लीट व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग. तो मैंने बोला चॉइसेस का साइकोलॉजी क्या है, क्यों हम चॉइसेस मीट कर रहे हैं, और चॉइसेस बढ़ती ही रहेंगी. लाइक एवरी डे देयर विल बी न्यू चॉइसेस दैट यू वुड हैव फॉर मल्टीपल थिंग्स दैट यू डू. दैट्स हाउ द लाइफ इज सपोज्ड टू बी डूइंग व्हाट इज बेस्ट फॉर यू, राइट? सो द आइडिया इज नॉट टू फाइट द चॉइसेस or to see choices as good or bad. It is just the decision making that we have to work with. And जब तक आपका decision making आपके core self, आपके core beliefs के साथ match करता है, तब तक I think there would never be troubles. I think choosing between things, of course there will be gray areas, and that's why otherwise तो फिर तो जिंदगी का purpose ही है. Life is just a series of choices, right? That's what life is.
इसमें एक depending on the personality also, Raman भाई. जैसे I was telling you right some time ago कि I think you as a person, okay, I have seen you not being a very second guessing kind of person. Okay, you are satisfied with the choices you make. Okay, कि ये किया. If let's say you are eliminating also some people from your life, okay, you are okay with that. Okay, कि ये मुझे noise है मेरे life में, I am reducing noise.
Yeah.
Okay, but not everybody तो नहीं बोलूँगा, most of the people are not like that.
Yeah.
Okay, when let's say you want to buy a new car.
Yeah.
Okay, now you will have a very clear definition of a car in your mind.
Yeah.
कि मैं either hatchback खरीदूंगा या तो sedan खरीदूंगा, ऐसा होना चाहिए. Comfort is the first aspect. Looks, you will have it all planned out. Okay,
नहीं, not really बाबा. मेरे लिए generally ये है कि till the time I make a choice, I spend a lot of time, I think, contemplating.
okay,
But once I make a choice, I back it all the way.
okay, understood. Okay, understood. So let's say I'm talking about the contemplating part itself. Okay, if we have to do that. So with this myriad of choices that we have, right from n number of examples, right? means buying a new phone after 2-3 years,
Yeah.
even when your current phone is working perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Buying a new car after 3-4 or 5 years, people seem to be buying, right? The whole dating app ecosystem, right? It's all based on these choices or too many choices, right? People today are not able to. पहले क्या था?
चॉइसेस लड़कियों को है बाबा, लड़के आज भी रेडिट पे ना इतना रोते हैं, उनके पास चॉइसेस नहीं है।
लेकिन फिर भी ब्रो एक चॉइस तो है कि स्वाइप कर सकते हो तुम।
वो चॉइस
तुम
तो क्या ही चॉइस,
अपने आप बोल सकते हो आई हैव स्वाइप लेफ्ट और राइट कि मैंने आई रिजेक्टेड दिस पर्सन, यू स्टिल हैव दैट चॉइस, राइट?
नहीं, choice है, but
then I would call that notional choice.
नहीं,
दैट्स द राइट आंसर, या
चॉइस तो है। देखो अभी तुम्हारा डिपेंडिंग ऑन द, लेट्स से तुम अभी बैचलर आदमी हो अगर, ठीक है, 35-year-old बैचलर गाय, डिसेंटली गुड लुकिंग ना, अगर तुम एक
चाहो तो लिप लॉक कर सकते हो बाबा के साथ।
हाँ, तो अभी तुम्हारा चॉइस कहाँ पे होगा? लेट्स से you're trying,
मेरा चॉइस ना है।
अरे नहीं, मैं सुनो, when you're saying कि लड़कों में चॉइस नहीं है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन where you are finding your choice. अभी अगर तुम पैसा कमा रहे हो, अच्छा, 35-year-old सिंगल गाय हो, तुम अगर देख रहे हो कि 35 to 40-year-old लड़कियां, if that is your target group, you'll have a lot of choice. But if you are, let's say, एकदम हूर परी टाइप की सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर, बहुत ही सुंदर दिखने में, that you might get rejected. मतलब I'm not saying you personally, okay, मतलब we all, रमन भाई शायद रिजेक्ट ना हो, ठीक है, हम दोनों शायद रिजेक्ट हो जाए, ओके, तो चॉइस है that we are going into की STP एनालिसिस, राइट? MBA में जो सेगमेंटेशन, टारगेटिंग, पोजीशनिंग, वो ठीक नहीं हुआ तो कहीं पे भी चॉइस नहीं है। सो चॉइस है, तो लड़कियों का चॉइस ज्यादा है, आई एग्री, डेटिंग साइड वाले में लड़कियों का चॉइस ज्यादा है, बट लड़कों का भी चॉइस होता है।
कहीं तो चॉइस दे दो उनको यार।
तुम घुस के तो देखो, तुम कोई डेटिंग साइट में रहे हो, हैं? आंसर नहीं दे पा रहे हो, अंडरस्टूड, ठीक है, तो
नहीं मैं दिया ना।
हाँ, तो मैच तो मिला होगा ढेर सारा तुमको।
बात वो नहीं है, बात यह है कि आपके, जिसको आप विकल्प कह सकें,
हाँ,
ठीक है, जिसको आप कह सकें कि ये चॉइस है, जो चॉइस के लायक ही नहीं, वो तो चॉइस ही नहीं हुआ ना बाबा, वो तो निकल गया ना।
वो भी अरे देखो,
आप समझ रहे हो?
अरे वो
चूज करना मतलब आपको
Not to
चुनना
choose
है,
is also a choice.
नॉट टू चूज,
Not to choose is also a choice.
लेकिन अभी क्या है, आज से,
देन इट्स नॉट एन ऑप्शन।
अरे नहीं, आज से 30 साल पहले अगर तुम चले जाओ, मम्मी पापा डिसाइड करते थे इससे शादी करना है, तुम उसका चेहरा पहली बार सुहाग रात का घूंघट उठा के देखते थे, जो मूवीज में दिखाते
मैं
हैं,
उसके एक और चीज बोलता हूँ,
वो true है, वो है, अभी भी
having choices and having the freedom to choose
Yeah.
two different things.
We'll come there in the next
Are
part.
two different things.
लेकिन यहाँ पे मैं just want to end this segment बाबा with saying this because you talked
पहले
about
क्वेश्चन क्या था बाबा का? क्वेश्चन था
choice
OTT
is
पे,
bad.
नहीं
ना,
OTT पे तुम तो
OTT नहीं, मतलब
तुम तो खो गए,
ओवरऑल क्वेश्चन था कि
तुम बह गए हो।
with the avalanche of choices that we have,
आपने जियो हॉटस्टार का नाम लिया था ना, मेरे को देखो क्वेश्चन याद है इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ।
वो पॉइंटेड क्वेश्चन था, ओवरऑल
कि
क्वेश्चन
OTT पे सिर्फ जियो हॉटस्टार रह जाए तो is that okay with you? He'll be happy or not?
हाँ, happy or not वो था, बट हाँ, ओवरऑल इन दिस सेगमेंट आई वांटेड टू कवर कि व्हाट आर द बैड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ हैविंग टू मच चॉइस इन लाइफ।
Yeah. तो मैं वापस वहाँ पे जैसे आपने बोला ना, you think I'm a person who does not second guesses himself. तो मेरे लिए बाबा फॉर डिसीजन मेकिंग, नो, फॉर चूजिंग समथिंग, मेरे लिए मेरा बहुत, आई एम वेरी ट्रू टू माई सेल्फ, मेरे को पता है मुझे क्या चाहिए आउट ऑफ समथिंग,
ओके,
ठीक है, दैट आई एम एकदम नंगा विद माई सेल्फ।
ओके,
I have tried to understand my at least beliefs and my core well, where I understand what is happiness to me. And end of the day, as I said, and guilt is one emotion. आपने crochet पढ़ा हो तो the full book is about guilt. Guilt is one emotion I feel जिसका weight इतना heavy होता है, that's too heavy to carry. It can break a person entirely. So मेरी life का goal है to minimize the guilt and maximize the happiness. And it is a very simple criteria for me from there onwards to make a choice.
I think that's very well put. Minimize guilt and maximize happiness.
Yeah.
I think that's a very well put way. So I think
And plethora of the choices पे एक बार आ जाते हैं कि अगर सिर्फ जियो हॉटस्टार होगा, if it is showing me what I watch, I don't care वो जियो पे आ रहा है कि पार्टिश पे आ रहा है,
DD1
मेरे को क्रिकेट मैच देखना है वो जियो दिखाता है, मेरे को उसके अलावा क्या देखना है, IPL देखना है, मेरे को कुछ अच्छी मूवीज देखनी है जो हॉटस्टार पे होती है, बहुत पर्टिकुलर
क्या जियो सच दिखाता है क्या?
जियो ऐसा तो है ना, मैच चल रहा है और उसके बीच में मॉडिफाई कर दिया कुछ ग्राफिक्स,
मतलब इन जनरल मैं बोल रहा हूँ, मैच की
तो
बात है,
न्यूज
मैच
थोड़ी ना
की-
देख रहा है कोई जियो
तो न्यूज तो अलग ही है।
एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए तो देख रहे हो एंटरटेनमेंट
आजकल तो न्यूज भी एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए देखते हैं।
मैं तो देखता ही नहीं दैट
लोग-
इज नॉट अ चॉइस फॉर मी
Yeah, so okay, so I think let's conclude this part.
Yeah.
I think we all agree that too much choice is not
can be overwhelming
overwhelming, and I think see there's a concept of marginal utility.
Yeah.
So I think, let's say if you ask a person in some third world or fourth world country, let's say in Africa or something, about choices, they would love to have a lot of choice.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's say in a developed country, on every aspect,
Yeah.
people have too many choices,
Yeah.
right? Right, from where they want to go for a vacation. When you have a lot of money,
Yeah.
you can choose any place.
Yeah.
जब पैसा कम था, नेक्स्ट शहर तक ही जाते थे हम लोग, गाड़ी है या बस भाड़ा करके, whatever, right? So I think the marginal utility increases as choices increase, but beyond the threshold, when you have too many choices beyond a certain number of threshold, I think there is no marginal utility. Okay, it is detrimental to your decision making, the decision making paralysis or other thing. So I think we can conclude, at least on this aspect, that too much choice in most aspects in life, be it dating, be it buying a car, be it anything else you buy, being in whatever books you want to read or whatever, right? Or OTT, too much choice is bad for your mental health, at least, or from your decision making
I
perspective.
am not saying it is bad. It is difficult to navigate.
Difficult
It
to
makes it difficult to navigate for a human mind. But वही टेस्ट है आपका ना, अगर हम कर्मा की बात करें, जब तक चॉइसेस आपकी कलयुग में अगर डिफिकल्ट नहीं होंगी, एक सिंपलिस्टिक लाइफ के लिए तो बहुत इजी है ना करना कि व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द बीइंग, और क्या स्वधर्म से जुड़ा हुआ है, वो तो एक कीड़े के लिए तो बहुत आसान है वो समझना ना। वो चीजें जब तक कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं होंगी, ह्यूमंस में वो कॉम्प्लेक्स है, and इसके बाद जिस कॉम्प्लेक्स होता ही रहेगा जब तक कलयुग चल रहा है, आई फील विच विल मेक इट डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या व्हाट रियली अलाइंस विद योर स्वधर्म एंड व्हाट यू आर सपोज टू डू और व्हाट चॉइस यू आर सपोज टू मेक। एंड वही खेल है पूरा, मतलब स्वर्ग यही है, नर्क यही है। यू कैन मेक योर लाइफ नर्क बाय मेकिंग रॉन्ग चॉइसेस, यू कैन मेक इट अ हेवन बाय making the right choices. Choices are only going to increase. It is only going to make the job tougher. But there has to be a what do you call it?
Exercise in
Dash
caution.
behind the madness. Method to the madness.
From that. Okay, we'll move on to the next part of.
So sadly, that's the end of the part 1 of the episode. Thanks for sticking with us. We had a blast diving into the paradox of choice, and honestly, the conversation got even deeper in part 2 and a lot more funnier. But here's the thing, we ran into a bit of glitch again, and let's just say technology had its own choice to make, and it chose to freeze our video. The good news, the audio is still all there, and we are debating whether we should put out the part 2 as purely audio experience, with some creative visuals, or just re-record the second half. So here's where you come in. Let us know, would you want to hear part 2 as an audio only episode? Maybe with some animations, some text and highlight, a lot like what you're seeing right now on the screen. Or should we just sit down and do it again on video? Drop us a comment, DM us, or just send us a telepathic signal, whatever works for you. Either way, we appreciate you tuning in, and we cannot wait to hear what you think. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.